First up, viewers, let's tell you what's happening in West Asia. Hamas has confirmed that Israeli forces carried out a precision strike, killing Saeed Atallah, a senior terrorist of its Al-Qassam brigades in Tripoli, northern Lebanon. Israel is confronted by a multi-front war, and now Hamas has confirmed that another terror face, this time of the Al-Qassam brigade, has now been eliminated. This is the Hamas leader that you see on your screens, who was eliminated recently by Israeli airstrikes. And to give us more insights on the anti-terror operation, anti-Hamas operation of the Israeli Defense Forces, we have Nick joining us live from Tel Aviv. Nick, a very good afternoon to you. Another big headway in the fight against terror for Israel. Another Al-Qassam Brigade's commander has been eliminated. Tell us about the status update from ground zero.
Good afternoon. So here in Israel, today is a holiday, the Jewish New Year. And as you can see behind me, there are not too many people outside because there's a lot of stress in Israel. Israelis are understanding that Israel probably will try to destroy the nuclear facilities of Iran because this is an existential threat to Israel. And now Israel had a one-time-in-life opportunity to do so because there will be some international support for Israel to retaliate after the second ballistic attack of Iran over Israel in the few months. So now Israelis are waiting to the response of Israel and then to the response of Iran. And at the same time, Israeli army is now attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon very, very intensively. And Israel actually says this is the biggest air strikes that happened in the world in the past 20 years. And about 2,000 targets already were destroyed in Lebanon. And a lot of those targets are in the Dahia region in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, where the Hezbollah militia, the terror group, has its headquarters underground in bunkers with tens of meters of concrete. And under that, they have the command operational rooms. And Israel bombarded that with tens of bombs, with tens of kilos of bombs, and the residential area above that was also destroyed, part of it. But Israeli army alarming the citizens and the residents, the innocent one, and ask them to leave before they are striking the Hezbollah headquarters. That's why Israel says that actually they are the most moral army in the world, and they are trying to save lives. But sometimes the terrorists using the civilians as human shields, and they are cynically building their headquarters under civilian neighborhoods. And that's why Israel, unfortunately, also in these strikes, some of the people are dying and they are innocent.
Well, Nick,
last night, the Iranian regime launched a cold-blooded attack against 10 million civilians. Jewish, Muslim, Christian, men, women, and children of every faith. In an unprecedented act of aggression, Iran fired almost 200 ballistic missiles, forcing millions of people into bomb shelters. These scenes have not been witnessed since the Blitz in London. This was a deliberate attempt to strike at the very heart of our society, targeting the most sacred places in Israel, holy sites, mosques, synagogues, and churches. To Iran, there is no holy ground, no purity of life worth protecting. But even before the missiles rained down, the bloodshed had already begun. Just minutes before this assault, Palestinian terrorists opened fire on civilians, murdering 7 innocent people, young women, mothers protecting their babies, tourists. This is the reality we face every single day. Terror at our borders, missiles overhead, bullets in our streets. The Council must understand the situation Israel is forced to live in. We are under attack. This was not just an escalation. It was a direct assault on our very existence. The Ayatollah's regime has revealed its true nature, not just as the world's greatest sponsor of terror, but as an active, direct aggressor. For years, Iran has armed terrorists and tyrannical regimes. We all know their weapons are responsible for the deaths of countless innocent civilians all across the globe, from Europe's war zones to terror attacks in the Middle East, from embassies in Latin America to assaults on US personnel. There is no corner of the world where Iran's blood-stained fingerprints cannot be found. They are not just Israel's enemy, they are an enemy of all civilized nations, an enemy to their own people who they brutally oppress, and an enemy to all nations they work to destabilize. Until now, they had largely operated in the shadows, using all their proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. They carried out their dirty work. But last night, that mask was ripped away, the mask that their leaders wear in these very halls. Iran no longer hides behind others. They have proudly stepped into the open as the architects of chaos and destruction. And now the world can see their true face. Iran launched the largest ballistic missile attack in history, justifying it as a vengeance for the elimination of Hassan Nasrallah. That is the reason. In doing so, they relinquished any deniability and claimed full ownership over Hezbollah's actions. They say that. That is the reason for the attack, because of Nasrallah. So basically, they own the deeds of Hezbollah today. Let me remind you all. Allow me to remind you of some of Hezbollah's crimes against the world. In 1983, they bombed the United States barracks in Beirut, murdering 241 US servicemen. That same year, they bombed the US embassy in Beirut, murdering 63. In 1992, they bombed the Israeli embassy in Buenos Aires, killing 29 people and wounding 242. 2 years later, same place, Buenos Aires, they bombed the Jewish Community Center, murdering 85 and injuring over 300. Before 9/11, Hezbollah were responsible for more American deaths than any other terrorist organization. None of this even mentions the thousands of Lebanese people and Syrians that they brutally murdered at the altar of their tyrannical masters. In the past year alone, since October 8th, Hezbollah has launched over 9,000 missiles and rockets, over 1,000 anti-tank missiles and hundreds of attack drones. They have made over 70,000 Israeli civilians refugees in their own country. All the while, they have been attempting to infiltrate our communities to commit an October 7th-style massacre. Behind every murder, every rocket launch, every plot stands the Iranian regime. Let me be clear. Israel will defend itself. We will act. And let me assure you, the consequences Iran will face for their actions will be far greater than they could ever have imagined.
We're in discussion with that. I think that would be a little, anyway.
Israel weighing up striking Iran's oil fields.
If I were in those shoes, I'd be thinking about other alternatives than striking oil fields.
But as the White House tries to temper Israeli action, former President Donald Trump stoked the fire.
When they asked him that question, the answer should have been, hit the nuclear first and worry about the rest later.